So we did two reports. That's Climate Debate UK and Together Declaration. First of those was looking at Sadiq Khan's claims that air pollution causes the premature deaths of 4,000 people in London every year, and I think the claim is based on science that says about 36, maybe 40,000 people across the UK die the same each year, and then that just turned out to be not true. It turned out to be not true, and I mean, it's in this. People say follow the science, and they will say, well, Sadiq Khan's offices, in fact, said we're science deniers, but in fact, the science we referred to was produced by a committee that was chaired by Imperial College's Environmental Research Group's chairman. So we're only showing the science that was produced by Imperial College's own scientists, right? And it says you cannot use deaths as a metric of risk of mortality risk is a misleading statistic. Let's put it that way. So it is, and the scientists said that it would be misleading the public to imply that there was a causal relationship between exposure to certain air pollution types, PM 2.5s and nitrous oxides, right? So it would mislead the public, and that would misdirect policy. And they were completely right. And of course, this is exactly what Sadiq Khan has done, and he says that these are causal. There's a causal link between air pollution exposure and deaths. What we point out in our first report is this is a false. This is completely. I mean, apart from the fact that the science says it's completely false. What you need to do is you need to look at what is important to making people's lives longer and healthier, right? And it isn't banning cars, and we know that because over the era of motor cars, people's lives have been getting longer by 72 days per person for every year of their life. I mean, that's just a remarkable, like, this is your life growing in front of you almost, like, kind of. So, in the 1970s, people were living until they were 70 or so. Now they're living into their 80s. So over the course of half a century, you're getting more than a decade extra life. And that's because people are wealthier. And when people are wealthier, they eat better, they take better care of themselves. They have, I mean, just think things like self-esteem, like looking after yourself, produces health. It produces, and therefore a longer life. Things like this. I mean, there are many and complicated ways that can happen. If you can detect within that radical growth air pollution, it is having the effect of reducing that 72 days per year by 64 hours per year, right? So those are your choices, right? And do you try and do you risk the 72 days for the 64 to gain the 64 hours? Because this is what we argue is that when you start to put these restrictions on people's lives, when you put restrictions on the economy, that's going to have, and firstly, an economic effect, and then that's going to have a health effect. That's going to reduce people's standard of living, and that's going to take away all of the gains that we've seen over the last century.